for those of you who are returning viewers, welcome back. The first thing you obviously notice, other than the figure right here in front of you, is I have a whole new lighting rig. I've been doing toy reviews for a while now, and I'm long overdue for an update, so hopefully this is a level up. Today we'll be taking a look at the Infinitybox Chinese Dragon IB-04 Golden Dragon. This comes from a viewer request off an unboxing video I did earlier this year, so I appreciate the suggestion and I'm always happy to oblige. In case anyone is interested, I'll leave a link to that video in the description. So there are some unique qualities about this figure, starting with the fact that this mold is an older release from the original Megabox line, and it's the first, and possibly the only figure to cross over to the Infinitybox rebrand. This is also the first release of a series of Chinese mythological creatures. It was followed by Chiron, and then earlier this year, Baihu. We'll do a side-by-side comparison of these in a little bit. Also, in case you didn't know, this is the Year of the Dragon, and Golden Dragon is a commemorative reissue for this occasion. So with regard to this review, I'm going to do a little more in-depth on figure details, a comparison to the other mythological creatures like I mentioned before, I'll touch on package contents, I'll do a transformation demo, and then we'll finish it up with a box grade and some final thoughts. Moving on, let's set this guy aside and take a look at the package. It's decked out with very nice looking ornate artwork here with a spot gloss coat. Gold foil stamping on the four corners, all in a very sturdy cardboard box. Coming around, you'll see those same four mythological symbols and the new Infinitybox logo. Inside the package, we got nicely illustrated instructions and a high quality collectible coin. This piece is a solid chunk of metal and it's well preserved in a plastic display with a rubberized ring that holds it in place. This figure comes with a very beautiful custom box charger. It's the newer design with all the knobs and stuff and a beautifully painted lid. Alright, let's clear this stuff out of the way and get back into figure details. The most obvious detail is it's almost completely painted from head to tail. And correct me if I'm wrong, I can't think of any other figure in the Machine Cube series with this type of paint application. And it looks beautiful. I'll tell you what, the gold and silver paint application just pops. Golden Dragon is absolutely a showpiece. I've had this figure for a while and I still don't get tired of having it on display. I love the styling on its head. It looks like something straight out of ancient Chinese mythology artwork for sure. Also note the transparent red plastic with embedded sparkly flakes, and additional ornate silver and red graphic applications. Come to think of it, there again, I can't read Mandarin, but this symbol is obviously a match to one of the four on the box and must apparently be the symbol for the Chinese dragon. At any rate, being an earlier figure, it unsurprisingly doesn't have a whole lot of articulation. These little stubby legs have appropriate joints, the head can swivel, the mouth can open, and beyond the midsection joints necessary for its transformation, that's about it. Alright, let's do a quick comparison with its mythology counterparts. This is Chiron, and more specifically, this one is a limited release called Chiron Inc. Chiron was a pretty revolutionary follow-up to the Dragon, where 5-2 Toys really took its detail, articulation, and styling to the limit of a creature that still has to transform into a 2-inch cube. It's also one of the most difficult transformations in the entire line, and I think a lot of people complain about it. So, earlier this year, they followed it up with this fella. This is Baihu, the Tiger of the West. You can kind of see this one as a dual-purpose release, one of those of course being part of the mythological creature group. You could also consider it a response to prior releases. For one, more or less dialing back its engineering complexity, a bit of a response to complaints about Chiron's difficulty level, I assume. The trade-off is, it's not quite as posable as Chiron, although that's probably partly due to its stocky frame. The second purpose of this cat may very well be that it serves as a replacement for the much derided original Big Cat mold. That one definitely had some issues, especially in the transformation and articulation. And the Baihu mold is a significant improvement over that. Plus, it's also a very high quality production piece, in my opinion one of the best releases as far as build quality, materials, and design in the entire 5-2 Toys Machine Cube series. There's also going to be a new mythological creature that's soon to be released called Xinwu. But for now, here's a quick side-by-side with its counterparts. As far as the Dragon mold, the question is, what are you getting out of this? Obviously, it's a very beautiful showpiece, and the way I think of this figure, to be honest with you, is looking back on the evolution and history of 5-2 Toys products, as an earlier figure, I think this one was less of an action figure and more of a statement. If you look at the earliest Beastbox and Megabox releases, most of them were fairly compact, almost chibi-style forms, and the Dragon completely broke that mold, and in my opinion, was 5-2 Toys telling the world, we're a Chinese company and here's a unique tribute to our cultural heritage that, by the way, can somehow contort itself into a 2-inch cube. At any rate, variations of this mold have pretty much run its course for wide distribution, and my hunch is this will be the final release, so if you're interested, you need to get it while you can. Okay, let's turn this guy into a cube. First thing you want to do is take the horns and fold them forward. Then you're going to rotate the head around 180 degrees, and the lower part of the jaw will sit inside that little wedge there. Then you're going to rotate the neck 180 degrees. Then we're going to take the front claws and rotate them 180 degrees. And they'll fold up inside against the back of these flame details. Then you're going to take this piece and fold that down 90 degrees. We'll compact the hind legs and then rotate them up. Next we'll rotate the back part of the torso against the midsection and then rotate that down like so. Now you're starting to see a little bit of a squared off shape here. Then you're going to splay out the back half of the tail, starting by disconnecting the tip. These pieces will rotate down at roughly 90 degrees. You'll need to take this piece and rotate that around and over so you get the interior of the ball socket positioned so that it can pivot sideways. Then you're going to take this piece and rotate it around so it'll be positioned to connect with the opposing tab. This is the shape you should be seeing. If it's not already, you'll need to make sure these little gap joint pieces are popped in. Now we'll need to take the back half and pop it open. These little connection pieces will need to get pushed in. If you haven't yet, at this point you'll need to rotate the back half 180 degrees. What you're looking for are the tips of the tail to be pointed up. Then you'll fold this whole thing at a 45-degree angle to the front of the body, and these joints have interlocking teeth that'll mesh together. Same for the tip of the tail. Now we're starting to see some things compact up the way it needs to. Then this last part is going to fold up like so. But before you do that, you'll need to make sure these legs are rotated around 180 degrees so they'll tuck up nicely. There's a connection tab to the back end of the tail, and that's pretty much it. Everything compacts up nicely, so you can stretch it up a little bit if you need to. And at that, here's your Golden Dragon in its box mode. Now, a couple of things I wanted to say about this particular figure is, being an earlier design, it doesn't quite form as sophisticated of a cube as many figures that came after it. On the other hand, the styling is very conducive to what I think Beastboxes and Megaboxes should be all about, and that is forming a cube with flat sides and angles, and forming a very stylized box design. Some might consider these gaps to be shortcomings, but personally I think it adds to the character and tells a bit of a story about this creature. It's almost like a serpentine figure contorted itself into a cube so it could fit inside that box. Many earlier figures have a bit of a quote-unquote creature peeking out of a box aesthetic, and 5-2 Toys unfortunately hasn't been given tribute to that look in more recent releases. Anyway, I love the look of this dragon, and I almost like its cube mode just as much. Of course, it fits inside its box charger, and boy did 5-2 Toys service its character by giving it a transparent box. This just looks so awesome. Now it's time to give Golden Dragon a box grade. This is my rating system in 6 categories with 5 points each, for a total score of anything between 0 to 30 points. I'll say it again, I love the styling of this dragon. It looks like the dragon we've all known from centuries-old artistic depictions of this mythological creature. I suspect this may very well be the last release of this mold, and if true, 5-2 Toys is truly sending this guy out in style. 5 out of 5. There's nothing here for the action figure crowd, but it's still an incredible showpiece, and it comes with some really nice commemorative collectibles. 4 out of 5. I really dig the shape of Golden Dragon's box form. It's aesthetically interesting, not excessively difficult, albeit a bit fiddly in a couple of spots. Though the fact that its elongated form could turn into a cube was pretty groundbreaking for that time, the engineering of that era is unmistakable. 3 out of 5. This is an earlier figure, and between that and its overall shape and the way it was designed to transform, its posability is inherently limited. 2 out of 5. Again, this is a very early figure design with its overall parts designs and manufacturing joints tolerances, and it does show. While it's nowhere near the quality level of Baihu, nothing feels especially loose or floppy. On the plus side, its paint job and graphic applications are high quality and gorgeous. 3 out of 5. Like I said before, Golden Dragon is much more of a showpiece than it is something you'd want to play around with. Although it does have a fun transformation, and it's just so freaking gorgeous to look at. I'll give it 3 out of 5. And that brings the box grade total to 20 out of 30. So there's a look at the Infinitybox IB-04 Golden Dragon. Like I mentioned in the other unboxing video, when I first started collecting Beastboxes, the Dragon mold went on the list very quickly, but at the time these figures weren't easy to obtain. I already had a loaded shopping cart, so to speak, and this mold fell by the wayside. So in a way, this special release feels like an opportunity to bring my collection full circle. Golden Dragon is not just a beautiful showpiece. Given the trajectory of 5-2 Toys' growth as a toy design company, this piece is important. I believe this piece, probably more so than any of the other earlier releases, was 5-2 Toys demonstrating what can be accomplished with a simple 2-inch cube. And the hell of it is, their designs just keep improving. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this review. Just a reminder, I do take requests with the caveat of limitations, that being available time, whether or not I actually own a particular figure, and that sort of thing. Feel free to leave a like, share, or comment to help out this channel. I still have a ton of content planned, and I look forward to meeting again as soon as possible. Have a great day.